Hello, my name is Michael Berger, and I have an associate's degree in mechanical engineering and a bachelor's degree in digital science. I have a certificate in AutoCAD and cybersecurity. I worked as a student IT assistant at the University of Akron, a math tutor at Stark State College, SMT operator at Airborne Electronics, and as a student team leader at Kent State University in the Federated Desktop Support Department.
And my name is Gregory Hess. I have a bachelor's degree in digital sciences from Kent State University. I have a Test Down Security Pro certification, as well as numerous certifications through LinkedIn courses. I've held numerous IT positions in end user support across Kent State, Beechwood Systems, and Northeast Ohio, and in my local area, in local town of Northeast Ohio, as I reside. And I'm en route to a rotational in Brooklyn, Ohio, this coming summer. As of February of 2023, I reside at a business analyst position in my current company in a bank in the Ohio area.
Everyone, welcome to another episode of the TechIT podcast. Today is May 30th of 2023. We got a jam-packed episode today, and we're going to try to do it in a concise and lightning speed sort of way to get the best news to you, as these are all stories mostly that the mainstream ignored that we will bring to you today. I'm one of your co-hosts, Gregory, here with my friend Mike. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How's your week going, Greg?
It's been good. I'm chucking along there after an iffy Memorial Day weekend, which is I might have like stomach problems now, but I'm chucking along here, and I'll just figure it out as the day goes on, in case my week doesn't get messed up too much.
Well, I hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, and hope things don't settle down. And speaking of settling, we have a first story here is the one that the mainstream actually did pick up on, because it's targeting TikTok, of course. And while I don't like to fearmonger things here, I'm just going to cover this briefly here because it is a hot story, and we want to cover the best take on it possible. And it is about Hyundai and Kia agreeing to a $200 million settlement over this TikTok challenge, where I guess people on TikTok, they I guess filmed themselves a way to how to jumpstart these cars without having the keys for them, and they were found liable by people whose cars who have been stolen due to this challenge, and they have settled in the 9-figure range, again, $200 million. Now, I don't know who is at fault for this, but what's your take on this, Mike, seeing this?
Well, it's always sad to see people complaining about stealing other people's, well, I was going to say things, but vehicles, especially since they're so expensive, and I would hate it, even though my car is not like something fancy or anything, I'd hate to see mine taken, especially if you've got a busy day ahead, right?
Yeah, especially if it's like as mainstream as this, where you can't completely be at fault for this. But again, I don't know if TikTok's completely at fault for this. If it's like we'll come back to this later on with other stories, but it's the whole deal with Section 230 that we mentioned here, where it's like, are we going to make these platforms liable or not for everything? Because currently they're not. But if we do, we can have like someone filming murders on there, but the murders won't be the person's fault. It will be just YouTube or Twitch's fault, for instance. So I really don't know what the balance is with this regarding something even as mischievous as car thief challenges like this.
I don't think in this specific case, I don't think it should be TikTok's problem.
Exactly.
I think it should be whoever is committing these crimes. Look, they go after the people doing the crimes, because having the knowledge and using the knowledge are two different things. You know.
Yeah.
There's plenty of knowledge there's plenty of people that have no knowledge to do terrible things, but they don't do it.
Rightly
and
so.
and it's also on the card makers for leaving this vulnerability out there. And there's plenty of people out there uh, that are like they call themselves like hacktivists, or that they make a living off of finding these
Yeah.
vulnerabilities, and they tell the card manufacturer, they're like, hey, this is a vulnerability, and then the manufacturer pays them. Um, I don't know if this is one of those situations where the manufacturer's like, no, we're not going to pay you, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll just tell everybody about it.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
it's
I
just it's muddy in this situation because I can maybe see a viewpoint where TikTok should have taken these down if it like it's like inducing criminal activity or maybe
see
encouraging it because it's
that's an
teaching
interesting
you,
point. That's an
because like
interesting
some were
point.
teaching you how to do it. So like I don't know where the line crawls in where it's like how exactly you can regulate TikTok, which the government's currently failing to do.
But the thing is, you can't. Even if you regulated TikTok, it's going to come out on some other platform. And I don't think this is. I don't think having the information out there is necessary. I mean, it's bad for the company, but uh, I think it's not that it's out there is that's bad. It's the people that choose to use that information that way. Because some people are just interested. They're like, it's an interesting topic, or that maybe they need to do it in case like let's say there's an emergency scenario and someone finds this video. They look up, they're like, I need to my Kia unlocked because I have to take someone to the hospital. So having that knowledge, like let's say it's an emergency situation, like you lost your keys or something, and like there's an emergency, I think it's good that the information's out there. So from that perspective, uh, I think it's good to have that information out there, no matter what platform it's on. But from the perspective where people are selling cars, I think it's bad. But I don't think like you can really regulate like a media platform like that. Because if you do, you're like, oh, TikTok, take this down, they'll just put another platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just we have a free enterprise all-in-one platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and even places like Twitch, where even though I'm not a big fan of Twitch these days, you can still kind of get away with things on there without it shooting over the regulation. So, in a way, regulation can also not really help this situation because, like you said, they'll just put it on something like Facebook or Twitter or somewhere else where they're trying to encourage free video like access compared to other platforms where you have to pay. Like no one pays for YouTube Red, but that's not a way to fix it though. But staying on the topic of TikTok though, as the government has currently failed in the United States to regulate TikTok because of their ineptitude to find out how it works and how people use it, and just read the terms and conditions, that thing. And but there have been separate parts to this, where Montana has successfully regulated TikTok by banning it, therefore not using the regulation. They're completely banning it in Montana for use in their government and state offices as well as workplaces due to its data scrutiny, as well as the whole thing about data going over to China, which we've covered here in the past, about how basically a lot of apps take your data and sell it to people. So it does kind of make a difference, but it's just getting more louder here because it's China and not like a corporation in America. So and because of this, TikTok is also trying to sue Montana for doing this ban. Who's in the right here, Mike?
Well, see, I think this is kind of an encroach on our freedoms here. You can't just ban any media source that you want, um, especially if it's just like a state thing. And I get where they're coming from, where there's like all these like there's all this bad stuff on there, like these bad challenges or these unsafe challenges. But again, like this is just gonna pop up on another platform, and TikTok's dying out anyway. Like that lately, I know you're not a TikTok user, Greg, but I was there from the beginning before it was even called TikTok.
You in the trenches.
Yeah, and it was fun. Like it was lighthearted. It was literally people just dancing and like it was.
You
And there's like some.
musically.
Yeah, there was literally. It was literally just like some short clips, and it was fun and silly. And then it got like hardcore, and like people had challenges, and then there was like important information on there. Like there was like people like explaining how they like take apart like circuit boards or make circuit boards or whatever. So there's a lot of interesting information, interesting channels on TikTok, and that's what drew me in. Like that, like I was like, oh yeah, this is cool and fun. But then there's like some actual like knowledge. There's actual knowledge base there. Um, but lately, like if you, I don't know if it's just my feed or if I know a lot of people have complained to me about this from their TikTok. Is lately is there's less interesting information and less fun, and it's more about people doomsaying and hate and racism, and it
There's
just
cloud chasing a lot still,
and ads, and there's just so many ads. Like I feel like that's how a lot of other stuff dies. Is like it used to be like iFunny, and iFunny died because there's too many ads eventually. And I think we got to the point here for like this year, it started off where like there's just too many ads on it, and everyone's just walking away from it and going back to like where their favorite meme website is, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like I even see more people going to Reddit of all things. I saw like a user chart recently, and Reddit's starting to get people again. Strangely, even though Reddit is, in my opinion, worse than Twitter.
Worse than Twitter.
But then again, Reddit's free and Twitter isn't now. So take what you want with that. But yeah, I kind of don't know where to go with this because it's like the SEC versus Coinbase lawsuit where it's just kind of stand the test of time forever because they're just going to hate each other forever because Montana is like a very traditional citizen base. Like people want to go there to be left alone. So like I wasn't shocked where they were the ones that said no TikTok. Like I thought it'd be them, Florida or Texas, which Florida's trying right now still to ban it. But anyway, we'll keep a look at this as we go forward if motion's going with this. But usually when people go after an app, motions aren't immediate, but I'll keep on the cusp of this as things goes on. Speaking of lawsuits, sadly, we covered this before about how this year they're going to challenge Section 230 with them cases against Twitter and Google. But those seem to have dropped. Strangely. And to kind of, I could talk about the story for 2 hours, but I don't want to talk for 2 hours about this.
Yeah, we have other topics we have to get to.
Because we have other topics to get to. But I'll make it brief. The Supreme Court is conservative majority, okay? And they hate big tech more than the progressives. Okay, that's set in stone. And the two cases that were brought to them were basically about radicalization because of YouTube and Twitter. And the case I followed a lot of the two was this one guy who's Muslim who said his uncle was radicalized to join ISIS because YouTube failed to take down ISIS recruitment videos on YouTube. Which this was a good opportunity to say, hey, that's not right, YouTube. Don't put that content on there, or it advocates terrorism. But the conservative majority was like, oh, sorry, I don't see that much liability in this. And they dropped it, which got me visibly mad when I first read this a couple days ago. Because, like, if you guys hate big tech, then why are them walk like this? Even if you can do something sneaky, like find loopholes where you can just find them at least or something. But not like in a radical way where it's like you ban all Muslim content. Like
I think that's the problem though. Like where do you draw the line at? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the draw the line of complete ban versus regulation versus I'm gonna try to ban specific things. And the last one is super hard. Where it's like I gotta look for terrorist looking videos. Which means you can ban anything that basically has a gun in it. Which can kill the gaming on YouTube. Which is a lot of people. So it's muddy, like the first story I said. So the Google one is the Twitter one's similar, where another person was radicalized through a group, and they're like, hey, can you stop this? Twitter's liable. And they said, we find no liability because Section 230. So I don't know. These are the two big cases that we talked about in the fall of 2022, where I said this is the chance for them to get back at them, and they folded. Like, calling it a stalemate would be me playing it nice, but this was like, we give up. Compared to other countries like the EU, where they fined Meta $1.3 billion over not following GDP data transfer laws. But that's another bag of worms that I don't want to put in the ocean. So, I don't know. Do you have any follow-up comments to this before I move on?
No, it is a giant bag of worms, and we're gonna leave it at that because I really want to get into our next topic.
Yeah, so this is probably the fifth follow-up to this because they keep trying to do this. It's about EU versus Activision, Blizzard, and Microsoft trying to buy it. Because we've said in the past that EU wants it, EU doesn't want it, EU doesn't want it because of this and this, and now EU wants it again. Simply because of the cloud gaming space, where they say it's an on-the-rise thing, and Microsoft is the body to make it happen, make it commercial. Which, given my research, cloud gaming isn't there yet, per se. It's there, but it's not like super big. Like, people still primarily, the biggest player base is still regular PC gaming, not cloud gaming, which we saw how that failed with Google Stadia. But
I'm
trying
very interested to see how this turns out, though.
They're trying with NVIDIA GeForce Now. That's one, and the Game Pass for Xbox. That's another one.
But the topic is about EU backing Microsoft to buying Blizzard, right? And they still have to. I think it's Congress that still has to.
Yeah.
Was it Congress? I can't remember. But like the deal. So EU's backing them right now. I did notice Microsoft got a little bump in the stock market. So it seems that a lot of people are saying that, this is good. This, like, the outlook is good. And if anyone's the one to do the whole acquisition of Activision Blizzard and get the whole sector of streaming your games up and running, I think Microsoft's still going to do it. Do I think it's going to happen soon? Probably not. But I think they're looking ahead. They're looking ahead and looking at the future, and I think that's a smart move.
What also makes this interesting is the other reasons that people like Sony and Nintendo don't like it, as they think it'll cost competition, which it kind of does. But also, I just saw a lot of people leave Activision Blizzard because of the latest Overwatch update. I don't know if you saw this. They canceled their PvE, which was the whole point of the game coming out. So I saw a lot of people leave, like YouTubers, streamers, people in like the top 500 ranked games saying, I'm leaving. So
I didn't hear.
I wonder if that'll affect it, because Overwatch is one of the biggest games. But anyway, moving forward, as we'll keep a look on that as well. As that's one of the acquisitions that keeps getting updates here on the TechIT podcast. And we have a look at OpenAI CEO talking to Congress saying, please regulate me, which is interesting. Because I found this on primarily tech outlets and not commercial ones, because it's my belief that mainstream media wants you to fear AI, like it's horrible, and that this CEO of OpenAI is like the worst guy ever. Even though he told Congress, please regulate me, I see the horrors of AI, please regulate me. He was up there with the lady who runs IBM, whose name I can't get right now. But he literally said, please regulate me, let's figure this out. Which, given the Congress's track record for letting stuff slip without regulating it, like smartphones, social media,
or poorly regulating it,
or not at all. Like they missed the boat on smartphones, social media.
What about
someone even argue the radio? Like,
I'd argue that
point us all.
I'd argue the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. poorly regulated. There's stuff in America that's legal in America that is banned in many other countries
Oh
where
yeah, we let a lot of stuff slide.
we let so much stuff slide that's like a cancer risk or that's just like really bad for us. And we're just like, oh no, it's okay.
Yeah, a lot of cases of those are just like, we know it's bad, but how about we have like a tiny amount in it?
Or we're the guinea pigs, the American citizens are the guinea pigs for something new. And then they can find out down the line that, oh yeah, it causes cancer.
Yeah, like I don't know. I keep seeing this picture. I'm sorry about the sidebar, but I keep seeing this Oreo like frosty thing at Baskin Robbins. It's like the worst thing you can have. It's like 2,000 calories.
That's like a day's worth of calories.
It's like a sundae in a cup, and the cup's like 30 ounces.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
But
I
anyway,
can't
what
even eat a Blizzard these days.
to jump back into the topic, what kind of regulations would you put on AI if you were
Well,
Congress?
well, I'd find a way to make sure it doesn't inhibit taking jobs, because
That's
that's the big one.
interesting. That's interesting. Because I'd go the other way. I would say it should take jobs, especially the jobs that are not safe, tedious. Like you want people to have jobs that are interesting. Like I've had a lot of
Yeah.
tedious jobs that I'm like, oh, a robot could do this.
Oh, yeah,
And I'm
same
just
here.
Like, and I'm like, why don't we make some kind of automation for this? And I don't know. It's just, I don't think it was good for my mental health. So I'm like, yeah, let the AI take jobs. There'll be other jobs like, and like for example, there are plenty of places that need more workers right now. Like I live in Florida, and body shops charge more than your car is worth to do any body work. I took my car over to get like some damage repairs, just a little fender bender. They're like, oh, it's like $6,000. I'm like, that's what I bought my car for. So like, and it's just because of labor. Labor was just ridiculously expensive, and there's like a body shop on every corner. So if there's more competition, then the prices will go down. And that's just one example. Like, imagine
Yeah,
having cheaper, you name it, just because there's more laborers for this specific sector, or maybe there's more artists, or more creative thinkers, or philosophers, or there's just a lot of potential there that I think we're missing out on. And we have to start thinking about this right now because
Oh yeah, that's
we're
why
already
if they don't crack on this now, they'll miss the boat on it again. Like
because
the other two things.
eventually there won't be any human workers. We'll be spending our time to like hanging out with other people, and because like was it Musk's working on his robot for menial tests?
Yes.
Like it basically does everything a human can do, and then we have coming out with the AI. Put those together, you have workers. So basically, I think a big job in the future is going to be repairing. You're going to be repairing those robots,
Architects and
or
engineers.
right, or yeah. So like, and even AI, I think we'll get to the point where like you'll have AI do engineering for you. It'll design something, and so a human will go back through it and just double check make sure everything's correct. Just like so what I want out of for regulation out of Congress, I want safety. I think one thing we have to worry about is AI getting out of control.
Yeah, we don't want AGI.
Yeah. So we want to focus on the things that keep humanity safe. We want to focus on things that prevent criminals from using AI to steal. So safety and security is a big thing. I think that's my main thing for Congress regulation.
Yeah, because I want ease of use in a way as well. But like that's an interesting point you brought up about how it should help with jobs. Is just that needs to work hand in hand with people actually going for those jobs. Because and not to put down the people of America, because Memorial Day just passed, but a lot of people still complain whenever I see the headline of 500,000 new jobs, and they're like, "What are these jobs?" And it's like, it's all ones that you guys can't do. And sadly, it's still true. People still work at like auto factories where it's just like, put the part in this part
Mhm.
and then move it along. Put the deliver this truck from Minnesota to Florida and come back by the end of
Oh
the
yeah,
day.
and
Okay,
a lot of those
Which-
jobs are
that needs
not
help.
safe.
Like that needs help, and they're not safe. But if I want the job thing to work with what you said, we need the pull of telling people to get the AI jobs.
But if you think
Like,
about
we
there's
need
like those
the hand in hand effect.
there's
Because if
those
we don't, there'll be a shortage.
there's
of
those
AI
factory
engineers.
jobs. There's those factory jobs out there that you're working with all these like chemicals or like
Yeah, those
in
need
an
AI.
unsafe environment that I think would be good to be replaced. So like let's say you put the AI into Elon Musk's robot or whatever, and you can have that robot work with these dangerous chemicals. I think that's where we want to see our AI. Our AI. That's what we want our robots doing. I think that's the future. That's what we need to
Yeah.
focus on.
Because the most commercialized robots that I think can work now are the Tesla bots, which are still work in progress, and the Boston Dynamics things,
Mhm.
which those are like good at like picking stuff up and delivering it and acting out a routine. I've seen it do as
Right.
well, which scares people like my mom and dad. But again, this is not AGI, people. It's not AGI. It's not like Terminator's AGI. That's what me and Mike also want. We don't want AGI, where they can like walk around and like have the potential to kill. Don't want that. Definitely don't want that.
Well, here's
It's
another.
just a matter of yeah.
Here's another perspective for the future of AI. So let's say that we get to the point where we can arm our robots and send them into battle.
Yeah.
Is that something? Is that something that we want to regulate? Be like, oh, you can't have this many AI troops or this many AI robots, or is
Yeah.
that part of regulation?
I wonder if it isn't, because this topic came up the other week with my dad, where it's like, what is more dangerous, an AI with a gun or an AI with medicals? What's like has more room for error? And I think it's the one with medical supplies. And
Really?
see, because if you give like an AI a gun, you can give it the routine of just doing a set thing. Because AIs, again, are just computers. They're machine learning networks, algorithms. And they're really good at doing routines, which is why people that like AI, like Lex Fridman, think that they're great, because they'll help beat out the work struggle of the whole "we don't want to work because this is dangerous" union trouble, which AI can replace, sadly, because AI doesn't complain about working 10 hours a day. Which I can definitely see the government looking at that and going, maybe AI is not that bad. Which I don't think that will happen, but it's in my mind. But to move along here, if I were to guess if they'll actually regulate this, my guess is they won't. And that
Well, one
I'll come
last
back
thing.
here like August or something, where it's like ChatGPT version 7, and they're like, "Why didn't we do anything?" It's like my brothers in Christ, you should have done something.
Well, I want to say one last thing
You
about
said to do something.
about regulation. I think uh, AI needs to be regulated to the point where it's forthcoming about if it is AI. Because did you see about where the AI lied about being AI to
Yeah.
get a human to help them solve the captcha? Did you see that?
Yeah.
I think that should be part of the regulation, because if I'm talking to an AI, it needs to be forthcoming if it's AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
And
think that should be part of the regulation. But yeah, that's well. Anyway, so I have another. Our next topic is TikTok.
yeah, so this is one of the things you can learn from it, even though Montana hates it right now. But tell us
So
about it.
so this TikTok talks about mining farms switching over to being test servers for like AI testing. Uh, for like maybe the coin they usually mine is low at the moment, and they want to make a little bit extra cash. So they're talking about how miners are renting out their farms to people testing AI. And I thought that was kind of cool, and another a good use for people that have all these GPUs or ASICs sitting around that maybe they're not running right now because they're the coin they usually mine is not making as much money. That's a nice alternative. So like even if it gets to the point where the US says, hey, let's get rid of all cryptocurrency, it's illegal here, there's still use cases for these massive farms. And this is another reason why, like, besides gaming, which will always be around, this is another reason why these like giant graphics card farms or ASIC farms will always be around and be useful.
Yeah, and then some, because like farming works hard, be it regular farming or just farming for like harder material, especially, which goes back to our point about the danger of people doing it and then getting health trouble, like black lung.
Mm-hmm.
I read a piece about that a month ago, but it's terrible. Like if you had like an AI guy even mining oil, granted, even though it's like 40 years old, to say like have something get oil, but in a way that's also safer because you wouldn't have lives on the line with that. And but this all comes into the circle of if we see AI actually get mitigated against, because my argument was that if the government actually cared about AI, they should have looked at it in the super infant stage when Siri came out. But it was avoided, which
Well,
I don't know
I
if
think they were
that's
thinking it's still far away, and a lot of the higher end stuff is still far away.
yeah, because the fear is about AGI, which will never happen, and also about taking jobs, which in my case, I personally think it still could happen, but at the same time, it can work hand in hand if people just learn to get skilled and not
So,
just work at like button pressing factories. Like it's like the 60s.
so Greg, I have a question for you to close out the podcast here. Let's say we get to the point where AI is doing all the work and we don't need jobs anymore. What do humans do? Do we game all day? Do we make art? What is the thing that you think humans will end up doing? What is the main profession? Like, is going to be like the government gives you this amount of money, you can do whatever you want with it, or is it everyone's going to be a robot repair guy or a programmer or uh,
Mm. As much as I want to be optimistic and say we'll all be repairmen, I think that won't happen. I can see, because the pull of us being entertainers is still there, that I can definitely see a timeline, and this might just be me, where humans in this world where AI does everything becomes just entertainers, where they just entertain each other and they have like a giant community, and maybe they have more of a perspective and understanding of each other because they all hate AI now at this point. But not like hate like want to destroy it, but like hate like this is what happens when the government doesn't do anything. Which that's one perspective I have. Another perspective I have is of complete compromise, where this dystopian world that people like Fox say like, oh, they're gonna replace all the gas cars with AI cars. That's not good. It's like I don't know. It might be good.
it might be good. It definitely is good because can you
There's
think of
no
all the people drunk driving? They'd just be gone, and
less drunk
that's a
driving,
that's a
less
big portion of the accidents
abductions,
caused by drunk driving.
less abductions. Of course, less abductions of children and people. Also, less car crashes. Well, maybe that one might not be mitigated. I still see stories about AI car crashes.
I'm sure there'll be less.
But
There won't
there'll be
as
less
many,
as more
Yeah.
comes out.
especially
know.
as they improve the quality of their systems.
Because
I'm with you. I think we eventually just all become entertainers, whether it's a comic or an artist or a singer, musician. Yeah, I think that's where we would head, and I think that'd be kind of cool because I think we all have talents that we just don't have time to work on, because we're always working.
Yeah,
I t-
like I don't want it to be like how it's kind of like now, where it's like that one movie where it has God, I forget what the name of it is. It's we're in like the stage where it's like this movie I almost saw where it's satire about like fear mongering in the news. It was like DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence are in it, called Don't Look Up. It came out like 3 years ago. It's like the worst reviewed DiCaprio movie ever. But it's supposed to be a comedy about like people like getting scared about something that's like not going to happen.
Interesting.
And it's just of all these idiots like going like, oh no, no. Like
So, are you
making
saying? Wait, what was it that made you think about this movie? It was because that is like a futuristic where no one has to have a job, so they're all just trying to entertain each other.
well,
Is that what the movie's about?
it's not about AI per se. It's about a comet that's going to destroy the Earth, and people are like, "Oh no, it won't." And DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence are like the scientists. Are like, "Yes, it will." Which
So they're basically it's basically the same as global warming in the U.S.
yeah, but as much as I want to say this movie has a message, it did have a budget of $75 million and made not even $250,000. So, also it's just booted on Netflix. But anyway, that's the scenario I have for AI. It will probably change by the time we do another podcast of this, where people will say like have their new takes about it, where it's like, I want it, I don't want it, I want half and half on my coffee, like AI. Like, I don't know. But anyway, that's all we have for today. Thank you all for listening today. As we're trying to put out the best stuff best material, excuse me, for you, and the outreach we can get for this. Stay vigilant, everyone.
Stay vigilant.